Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to a joint production here of NerdTube and No Budget Productions. I'm here with the V-Man himself, Vance. How you doing, mate?
Oh, finer than frog hair, my friend.
Very good, very good. Well, this is a more serious debate we're having right now. Discussion, that is for sure. We're kind of both on the correct side of the issue here, as far as we're concerned. But there's been recent news regarding mainly transgendered YouTubers and Twitch streamers who've been getting a lot of hateful comments and hateful raids from bigoted people, bots as well, just because they're different. It also happens to ethnic minorities too, who are becoming more renowned on things like YouTube and Twitch, and because of that, they get a lot of bigoted raids on their live streams. Now, Jessie Gender is a very she's becoming a very popular YouTuber. She's When I subscribed to her, she had less than 20,000 subscribers. She's now on like 85, 86,000 within a year. V man, she's just flying up the charts right now.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if she hits 100K before the year's out,
Yep.
and she's just a very lovely person who loves Star Trek like the way we do, as well as
Yep.
other forms of nerdy media as well. She wouldn't harm a fly, so to speak. She has no issues against anybody else, but unfortunately people have issues with her. I just want to play a little clip here of her basically expressing herself a little bit. I've caught it in the middle. You can just subscribe to her channel if you want to find out more about her. Her name is Jessie Gender. Very easy to find. But yeah, she's just basically talking about a particular issue she had the other day, where she was doing a Twitch stream, and then she got loads of hateful comments about her apparently being a man, having broad shoulders, looking very masculine. She'll never be a woman, yada. All the sort of stupid trans hateful shit you get from bigoted fucking cunts out there. So I'm going to play this, and if you want to butt in, stop me or anything, have anything to add. You got anything to add right now, by the way?
There's there's so much on my mind when you brought this up yesterday to me. But I'll wait until after you play the clip, and then you and I can discuss.
Okay, now she's gone through this, and you can tell she has a lot to say. She almost spoke for 40 minutes here, but we haven't got time for that. But we would like to hear what she has to say, regardless. So we're going to start in the middle somewhere. So here we go.
Been talking about. And it also creates, like I said, a fear of your own platform. And again, especially for smaller creators, but even having a bigger creators, it can make you not want to engage with this content. It makes you not want to engage with this, even if you built up a strong community. 10 people can make you feel isolated from your own community because they're the ones being bigoted and hateful. Now, thankfully, during that week, what I set up and did was there are some tools in the back end of YouTube that you can do, like you can put in certain words that can be automatically blocked and things like that, but I had to actually seek that out. I had to go and find lists on different websites of different slurs and things, the different ways that people say things. I had to be aware of like different phrases that people say against trans people, like "you will never be a woman." I had to like think of all the different transphobic phrases and program that into my back end to make sure that if someone came into my live stream, that those messages would automatically be flagged. But
Can I
I
just
had to
pause it
think
for?
of all those things.
Can I just pause it there? Like, you can see what she has to do, just not to get any hatred. Like, she has to figure out what the common phrases are amongst these bigots, and then put it into this particular thing, which I haven't even grasped yet myself, just so
You
that
know,
these messages don't pop up.
and that's the really sad thing about it is, in a world where everyone's an armchair fucking warrior, you have to go to such great lengths to make sure that people have common decency. And we don't really have that these days. We have just asshole people who remain faceless, and there are no consequences toward them being, assholes to people, such as this, who aren't doing anything, who provide great content. Because if you go to her channel, like you said, like she does Star Trek stuff, she does, geek stuff. I brought it before the stream. Like I enjoy how much effort she puts into the costumes and stuff that she does. It's like
Mm.
she's a great and wonderful person. She's always happy, and 100% of what she is goes into her product. If you don't like it, don't go to her channel. why harass? I never understood that mentality. And it's the same thing, like, people, when you're in fifth grade and the schoolyard bully comes up to you and punches you in the face, well, now you have to go up and be like, well, now I got to avoid the playground. And that's the equivalent here is, why do you have to go to such great lengths to make sure that you're safe? Yet, um, YouTube and Facebook and all these other bullshit platforms will target, stuff that isn't, dangerous by any means. And like for me, Facebook has done memes that were like 4 or 5 years old that are purely sarcasm, and say, "Oh, this is nudity, or this is violence," and I'm like, "What?" And yet something like this, which is clear threatening, and yet she has to go out of her way to make sure, okay, this comment isn't, you know, put on the channel. Like, I mean, that's just all kinds of bullshit, and it's clearly bots that aren't doing their job, and it's the human element that's taken out of uh, these large businesses like YouTube and Facebook, and it's a bunch of bullshit, because it's like, look, you got people being assholes. Why is she not protected? Bottom line. Bottom line.
Exactly. And it's very easy for YouTube to clamp down on copyrighted material of various types. No problem. I mean, the moment they think something's copyrighted, they will come down on you, because when it comes to fucking not making any money, or somebody possibly making money out of their shit, they don't want that to happen. But when it comes to keeping people safe, they don't give a fuck. Let's continue, by the way.
Work that I had to do as a marginalized creator. I had to go into my back end and think of the slurs against my own community and other communities to try and protect myself. That's the work that I had to do. And even to this day, what YouTube does is it doesn't delete those comments. It puts it in a separate folder that you can sort of go into as the creator and sort of say, like, I approve of that one to go up. I delete that one. But you still have to see it. They may not be public, but for me, I still have to see them. And so there's this whole list, this whole other folder on my comment section of now that's like flagging all these transphobic phrases. And it also, by the way, catches some positive phrases too. Because like sometimes I talk about a slur in a video, I want to discuss a slur in a video or something like that, and someone wants to discuss that in a well-meaning way, and they'll type that word in the comments, but it'll get flagged. And so some people's comments get flagged and hidden, and they think it's been deleted when they were just talking in faith, and I have to go in and check those things all the time. And so it also creates a chilling effect on people engaging with my content at the same time. You see how all this stuff starts to pile on with just a simple hate raid? People think it's just one thing, one and done. It starts to pile on more and more and more things like this. Now, at the end of the day here, I am someone who is somewhat prepared for all of this. I like to talk about Star Trek. I like to talk about geeky, nerdy, dorky things. But also on this channel, I talk a lot about bigotry. I mean, I talk a lot about TERFs. I talk a lot about transphobic hate. I talk a lot about different hate groups on this channel. I am a fairly political channel. That's something that I am, as a creator, kind of engaging, like willfully engaging with. And as such, I know that to a degree, it's not something that I think should happen, but I know just being a trans person online engaging with these topics will make me more likely to be the target of these things, and I'm kind of mentally prepared for that fact. If I talk about TERFs, more than likely TERFs who are regularly online harassing other trans people, that's kind of part of their MO. TERFs harass trans people, that's what they do. That's kind of their whole point. I'm prepared for dealing with that, even though I don't think that should be the case. I don't think trans people should have to prepare themselves to be the target of harassment, or people of color should prepare themselves to be the target of harassment when they engage with these topics of themselves being marginalized. But it's something that I'm kind of prepared for as a creator. And I've also, I've been on bigger platforms. I used to work for LGBTQ magazines. I used to be a public face on those bigger platforms. They had a lot more homophobia than my YouTube channel. And so I've gotten death threats. I'm used to this sort of stuff. But again,
I just need to pause it there. Like, you can see how much shit she's gone through in her life already prior to the fucking hate raid. I mean, she's used to death threats, for fuck's sake. I've had a few in my life, to tell you the truth, being an ex-Muslim, now atheist. But I feel more worried for her. I really do. I mean, like me, if no one realised that I was an atheist, no one would give a fuck, just by looking at me. You can tell that she's a transgendered person. And, when she walks out of her front door, my God, it must be a scary place at times. It really must be. And, death threats and, just being discriminated against her whole fucking life. It's is unreal. And then you add this next layer now with the hate raids. That even in the place where she should feel a little bit more secure, like she's at home, she's on the computer, she's maybe with more like-minded people, she's still getting discriminated against. It's fucking infuriating that this shit is happening. It makes me mad to be living on a planet with so many hateful people. Hateful in a way that makes no sense. You know, it doesn't legislate for their behavior at all. You're hating on somebody for being trans, you know, and yeah.
And that's the thing, like, her audience, a lot of them, like, you would think that they would be enlightened, you know, considering that a good part of them are Star Trek fans or people from the geek community. Like, you would think those people are enlightened because they have, you know, somewhat of a lifestyle that's not necessarily conformed to what the public thinks is acceptable. You go back maybe 30 years and nobody had even really heard of convention, let alone make that a regular occurrence. And now it's the everyday thing. When I started dating my wife back in high school, you wouldn't think that it would be you know, that we would get looks, but we did, and I was very surprised by that, especially in a military town. You would think that they were, you know, that they would be, you know, more open-minded, and I was shocked to find out, you know, oh wow, I'm dating a black woman, and some people are really fucking pissed about that. And I mean, like, literally fucking pissed. So to me, you know, like, ignorance, you know, bigotry, all that shit, like, I don't fucking get it. You know, if someone lives a lifestyle that's not yours, well, there's a reason it's not yours. You know, you don't have to date a black girl.
I don't want to even call it a lifestyle, though. I think that's a disservice to your scenario. You're dating another human being, dude. Black or white, doesn't matter. It's just how it is, you know. Like, there's no rule saying that you're not allowed to date a black woman, you know, or you're not allowed to marry one and have children with them and all of that. What you're doing is perfectly fine. It's not a lifestyle thing. Lifestyle is like if you like to go, you know, windsurfing on weekends. That's, you know what I mean. That's lifestyle. You know what I mean. That's lifestyle. This is life. What you're doing is life. You know, courtship and all of that. You know, it's no different to anybody else.
But we look at that now. But if you go back in time, what, 70 years?
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been a lifestyle change. I mean, that would have been completely outside the box. You know, that would have been, you know, what I'm talking about in this reference.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, you know, when I look at, you know, a transgender, or, you know, in you know, back when I was a kid, like, being gay was kind of, oh, that's a bit odd.
Yeah,
you know,
I know
now
what you mean.
yeah. So it's like that's the thing for me. I don't judge anybody, because it's like, hey, you know, things change, people evolve. You know, we as a society are constantly changing what our definition of quote unquote normal is. And to me, hey, this is just as normal as me, because I'm not fucking normal. You know, we're all fucking a little, you know, wacko. So let's just be happy with each other. And I don't get these asshole fucking people who go on, like I said, if you hate what's contented in her video, hey, put that, hey, this video is trash, but don't put her down as a person, because I've seen her videos, I like them, you know. I mean, not every one of them, you know, because it's like, hey, I don't necessarily agree with her opinion, but that's a state of her opinion. You know, same thing with you. I'm sure there are some things I've made that you don't care for, but that's a matter of content, not character. And her character is outstanding, you know, especially for what she stands for.
I totally agree. Let's continue watching.
Sure.
Again, I talked about earlier in this video, think about all the creators that, number one, have smaller platforms than mine, who aren't prepared for that sort of thing, who don't have the training, who don't have the mental fortitude that I have been able to build up because I've been engaging with this type of stuff for years now. Someone who just wants to try and build, like, oh, I'm a trans person who wants to talk about Star Trek, or I'm a trans person who wants to talk about nerdy stuff. But they'll still get that same transphobic hate. You know, there are black creators who get a lot of racist shit, when they're just talking about like nerdy stuff like Marvel movies and things like that. Again, it creates this chilling effect against these creators to want to engage with this platform, and it causes marginalized creators to not have much of a voice because of these types of hate
I want to pause it there because she's absolutely right. I remember, do you like the film Dune? The
I've
sandworms.
actually never seen. I've never seen it.
It's like food. It's an acquired taste. The original movie, the one with Carl McLachlan and stuff like that. Nevertheless, I found some YouTubers when it came to talking about Dune and the Dune lore and stuff like that, about the sandworms and the spice melange, which is this sort of drug that only comes from the sandworms and this planet, and from this planet, and the whole universe requires this drug. But it's not just a drug; it's a way of space travel and all that shit. And when I came across this one particular YouTuber, you just heard him narrate. You never saw his face. You heard him narrate. Then one day I saw his face in one of the videos, and it was a black dude. And I thought, fuck me, yeah. And this is really, I'm upset with myself because I was surprised it was a fucking black dude. And I'm really angry at myself that I had that reaction. Because why the fuck not? You know what I mean? Because the guy was so eloquent and he was in so much depth and stuff like that. He was a proper fucking, like, more like a Harvard nerd in that sense. The way he was delivering and stuff. A very educational sort of description of what I was watching. It was just, the guy was really detailed. And yeah, I was surprised that it was a black person doing it. But, I've been brought up, or not brought up in a way, but in society's made us think that, these things should be surprising when it shouldn't. No,
and that's the thing. Like, sadly, society has put a lot of stereotypes in there.
Yes.
And for some people, like, it's excusable when, like, we don't realize it and we catch it and we're like, oh, that's not the way to be. What's not excusable is when you allow those, it's excusable when you catch it and you're like, oh, that's not the way to be, and you can fix it, you can course correct. What's not excusable is when you allow those, the bigotry comments to lead, and that's, what marches you on. Like a lot of these people on, the videos, they see something they don't like, and instead of attacking the argument or the statements that are made, they're like, oh, you're black, so this obviously has to be this way, or you're you're gay, so obviously this topic is wrong, and it's completely invalidated. It's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? But that's sadly how some people's mind works, and that allows for no area to course correct, because they're put in that box and there's just no justification for it. And those are just so closed-minded people. I think you and I both have seen our fair share of those.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, actually, it's funny in a way because I'm very used to being an atheist, but not many people. Like, I remember when I joined an atheist community, I was like the token ex-Muslim. Everyone else was fucking ex-Christian or ex-Catholic. There was no fucking ex-Muslims but me. I found a lot more sense. Don't get me wrong. But when you come across other people outside of the atheist community and who are maybe the same race as me, and you tell them that I'm an atheist, they are gobsmacked. First start, a lot of them don't even know what fucking atheists are. And then you tell them that you don't believe in God and shit like that, and they are absolutely fucking gobsmacked that somebody who looks like me, I get mistaken for a Muslim all the fucking time. I mean, like I said, I was born a fucking Muslim. From Muslim parents. I've got the fucking beard. Even though some people tell me I should shave it so I look less Muslim. I like my fucking beard. It hides my double chin, for fuck's sake. So
you and me both. I mean, that's
so
it. We got tricks, man.
Yeah. So I like having my beard. I've done the beard for years now, but nevertheless, just because I look like a particular demographic doesn't mean I'm going to shave this shit off. I'm still who I am. So right. Yeah. So for people to, I've kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, but.
Well, you talk about, you are who you are. And that's where I feel like most people, when they get it, they have that bigotry, that stereotype. They stop seeing people as people, and they start seeing them as, like her. They start seeing her as, oh, you're trans. Fuck off. Well, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Or they look at you and they're like, oh, Muslim. Fuck you.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, Vance, I just need to pause this, mate. Sorry, man. Okay, so let's continue watching some more Jessie Gender and what she has to say.
However, this does bring me to one final part of this discussion, and that is why creators don't actually talk about this more. Why there are not more videos like the one I'm currently doing right now,
I agree,
talking about hate raids and the emotional effects on it. And that is because when you speak up about this stuff, you do make yourself a target. Not just people doing hate raids against you just for
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
But to come after you specifically.
That's my bad, I do apologize.
That's okay, man.
You guys are watching some live tinkering going on here. Look at my fucking bar at the bottom. Enjoy it while you still can. I forgot to share the audio, something I commonly do. Alright, let's go.
Because you are speaking up about these things. Again, I know this because this has personally been something that has happened to me. When I did that video where I talked about, like, hey, I'm glad that we pushed back against this hate group and things like that, where I talked about the hate raid that happened, like I said, that group that was doing those hate raids started rallying up against me, wanting to come after me, wanting to attack me. And something that I didn't mention earlier that I will mention now is that they started to find out information about my personal life. It happened first with someone posting up, and this is because I constantly kept coming back to that page. Someone found my Tinder dating profile and posted it up on the site.
Sad fucker.
That means someone, and I saw the picture, they were within 30 miles of me. Someone within the vicinity of where I live found my information, my dating profile, and posted it up for people to see. Now, my dating profile is public. I don't really care all that much. It's mostly stuff that you would already know about me, but it's scary to know that someone's close to you. I mean, 30 miles. There's a bunch of people. I mean, I live in Seattle. There's a bunch of people within 30 miles of me. To think there's one transphobe, yeah, sure. But to know that there's someone nearby that is expressly looking for me, that knows who I am, that's terrifying. From there, I saw another thread where someone posted, hey, what was the name of that creator? I want to get more information on her. Now, some of the comments on this was like, oh, you want to jerk off to her? You weirdo. Like, more transphobic nonsense.
Yeah, of course.
But that meant that someone was looking for information on me. And as some of you who may follow my live streams may know, something that happened to me recently is during my live streams, I suddenly had to get up because I got a pizza order. A pizza order that I didn't ask for. I didn't order pizza, but somehow, during a live stream, pizza came to my house with my name and my address. What that means is, and this is a common tactic for doxers, is that they have found your information where you live, and then during a live stream they'll order pizza and stuff to your house to confirm that that's your address, because they can see you on the live stream getting up and be like, oh, I sent it to the right address, that is definitely her address. So what that means is I've probably been doxed. And more than likely, I don't know if this is because of the hate raids. It also might be because I talk about turf groups and turf things like that. But it's all kind of element of the same exact thing of if you speak up about this stuff, you make yourself a target. You make yourself a target of these hate groups. You make yourself a bigger focus. Because while this group that was doing these hate raids was probably just a bunch of like teenagers or, you know, people who don't have much of a life, just sort of doing this for fun, quote unquote, which is already nasty and gross and disgusting. The people who do that aren't just isolated. There are people part of those groups who belong to other groups, part of bigger hate groups, part of bigger things that are much more nasty, that do wish direct harm, physical harm against minorities. And so for someone like me to speak up against that stuff makes me a target. It makes to say, we want to shut her up. We don't want her to talk about this stuff. Hell, even me making this video right now is somewhat nerve-wracking for me to do because I know it might make me even more of a target for these groups.
I'm going to pause it there. That was heartbreaking.
That was eye-opening, dude. Like, that's fucked up on so many levels. You know, you and I do YouTube for fun. I mean, we bullshit with each other. We
bust each other's balls and all of that.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, like, we don't take it too seriously. We do it when we have time. We do it when we have fun. You know, we bullshit about dumb shit. You know, we review, wonderful movies that our friends send our way. I won't say which one. Um,
Yes.
we'll leave that for the audience to decide. But at the end of the day, like we're all just friends bullshitting around having a good time. For if anyone ever crossed that line, like what do you do? Um, and that is so fucking scary and fucked up to do to someone, to order a pizza while they're live streaming to confirm that it's like, what the fuck? Like one, I mean, I'm sure you could go to the cops and find out, like have them go down to the file a harassment. Like, but then could you? I mean, like I know the cops here, like you know the guy that I sent you the screenshots of. We won't mention his name. But that fucking whack job.
Yep.
And I got no fucking help from keeping that dude away. I can only imagine something like this where they would be not really that much help. Like I'm sure it would probably just deflection of, well, technically they haven't done anything yet. It just someone ordered a pizza at your house. It's like just the deflection that you tend to get.
I mean, the guy could be in another, the guy or the crazy guy or girl could be in another country, and then what do you do about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. No, and that's like, sadly the serve and protect, it's not always that, like in a perfect world, like, look, I'm getting harassment, and then this happens, like A leads to B. I don't want there to be a C. Help me out. But I don't know if they necessarily would. Because in a perfect world, you should be able to have the cops say, look, somebody paid for this pizza. It was not me. I think somebody's trying to dox me, trying to out me. I need help because I feel threatened. So help me. And okay, let's look into this.
V-Man,
Sadly, they would probably say, well, if nothing's happened physically, we can't do anything. That's probably what they would say, which I think is bullshit, because it's like, look, if somebody's fucking scared, you don't want there to be escalation. It's a terrible situation to be in. Like it's just fucked up.
I come across a lot of stories of transgendered women who have been murdered. From various scenarios. From somebody just finding out. Like it's amazing as well. I read the comments. Like you know who Steve Wilkos is.
No.
Steve Wilkos, he was the bodyguard of Jerry Springer, the tall, bald dude.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
got his own show called the Steve Wilkos Show. It's been going on for a while, and he, on a couple of occasions, I've seen on his Facebook page a story of a transgendered person being murdered. In one particular case, this person didn't realize this person he was about to have sex with was transgendered. Once they found out, they killed them. And in another case, this guy was having an affair with this transgender girl. She wanted to make it public. He ended up killing her, and then it became more public than ever because he ended up fucking killing her. But nevertheless, what I read in the comment sections were people saying, well, if they never said anything, or if they told him at first that she was transgendered, then maybe he wouldn't have killed her, or if she never kept it she never went public and kept it private, then she would still be alive, and all this sort of shit. And I'm thinking to myself, she could have outed him, and she could have not told him that she was transgendered. They still didn't deserve to fucking die. They still didn't deserve to be fucking murdered. That doesn't give you the right to kill these fucking people. Jessie Gender is being fucking doxxed, and people could possibly kill her for being transgendered because we got fucking crazies in this world. And it really scares me. It scares me for her. I'm scared for her, mate. I really am.
Well, and that's the thing, like we all, when we date someone, like at some point, for a lot of relationships, because most of the relationships when we date someone, they don't work out. It's not until we get to that proposal, the till death do us part, and even then sometimes those don't work out.
Yeah, that's why we have divorces.
Right. And why they're so high.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is, like, there's always something in a relationship that starts to lead to, okay, this isn't working out. I'm not happy. This isn't, so if that's what makes you not happy with the relationship, leave. There's always that open door. Hey, there's the door. So you're always entitled to leave the relationship. What you're not entitled to do is take someone's life. What you are not entitled to do is threaten and harass. What you are not entitled to do is give exposure to someone, to a group of people, and say, here you go harass them. Like, that is what you are not entitled to do. You are entitled to not watch someone's video. You are entitled, I mean, if you want to make a bad comment, okay, but again, within reason. So there's a lot of things you can do, both in and outside of a relationship, or in and outside of YouTube. But what you are not allowed to do is stalk, harass, because I mean, ultimately, that's what you're doing. You're stalking this person, you're harassing this person, and those type of things are illegal. You cannot do those things. When your enjoyment comes to someone else's misery and safety, because even though, you know, if you leave a nasty comment, okay, that's fine. You may not mean nothing by it, but what about the person behind you who's ready to leave that next comment because you're escalating the situation? That right there, it's best just to avoid those things. Again, if you don't like her videos, don't fucking watch them. Don't fucking comment. Just ignore it. But to harass her, to out her, to do those things with the pizza, like, the fuck is wrong with you?
That's scary, man. And you can hear it in her voice as well. Like, she,
Yep.
you know, like, there was a real, like, a fear coming out of her voice. And,
Yep.
yeah, sorry, I'm just lowering, making sure I don't get any more beeps.
You're fine.
Yes, and I you know, it must be horrible knowing that you could fucking die, you know?
Well, you should never wake up. You should never be afraid of your own skin. You should never have to look out your door and be like, is today the day? You know, especially when you go out of your way to make the world a better place. And that's what she's done. Everything she's done, you know, sadly, everyone has to have their scapegoat. You know, they have to have their, you know, they stand up on their pedestal. I find, without turning this into a religious argument, or debate, I find that a lot of the religious go to this extreme because they don't like gay, or they don't like trans, or they don't like,
Or they're attracted to them as well a lot of the time, and they end up having to kill their attraction because it's against their religious beliefs, which is why I'm a fucking atheist, because religious beliefs are fucking stupid. I want to quickly say as well, Vance, that it took me a long time for me to be more public with my atheism, simply for the fact that, being an ex-Muslim, I was worried that I would be killed for it. So I know where she's coming from. I really do. But I'm a lot more braver now. I'm a lot more older. I don't give a fuck. Like I was when I was younger, and times have changed, and there's more. Obviously, coming across more ex-Muslim atheists helps as well, making me realise I'm not the only fucking one out there.
Well, it opens up your mind. It opens up your mind to a perspective of, my decisions are my own. I take responsibility for my actions. I don't ask some invisible deity for something that I can just go grab myself, and I don't blame another invisible deity for something that I did myself. You know, you are completely 100% responsible. And I think it gives us a perspective that, you know, if we fuck up, we own it. Our successes are our own. Like, I have no problem with someone that is a Christian, or is, you know, whatever religion they choose to believe. I mean, you can believe what you want. I don't give a shit. My only problem is when you force your beliefs, and that's the key word there. You force, not share, but when you force your beliefs on someone else. Like, it's one thing for, because I've had plenty of Christian friends, like my friend Drew. He is a Christian, and he's the most respectable fucking person that I know. That dude is my best friend, and I love that guy to death. If he were to invite me to church, I would strongly take him up on it. I probably would go, just because of how much respect I have for him as a person. And I'd have no problem if you know, we've talked, you know, we talk both politics and we talk both religion. We agree on probably 95-98% politics. Religion, we don't, you know, we probably agree maybe 60%, you know, just because he's got a very big open mind. But he's one of the few people that I would, you know, go to church for. So I have no problem with someone sharing their belief. I have a problem with someone forcing their belief. And that's not just with religion, but that's with anything, because, you know, people who do that take their beliefs to the extreme. And that's what I see happening here is someone who has a belief that, oh, this person's fucked up because they're trans, so I'm going to go ahead and push this to the extreme. Fuck extremism. Um, Fuck that shit, because she has the right to do what she wants, and she's not hurting anybody. And she's, again, if you're not a fan, don't fucking watch. But I mean, if you watch the content, there's nothing there that you can say that you dislike, because it's all good stuff. It's all positive stuff.
These people, if they're not a fan, they don't. It's not about not watch. It's don't fucking live, because they have an issue with younger people coming across people like Jessie Gender or people who are gay or transgendered. You know, it's not like these people don't live in this fucking world. Of course they do. They're all allowed to share. They share this planet as much as we do, and because they still think there's something wrong with being gay or transgender, they don't like the idea of their kids ever even putting eyes upon these people. Like their sexuality means fuck all. They just happen to be gay or transgendered. You know, but nevertheless, people have an issue with that. But they're the one with the issue, in my opinion.
Well, that's the thing. Like you'd be like another thing when I was studying to be a pastor, because I studied to be a pastor for 5 years, and that was one of the things. Like, because again, when I was younger, like being gay was kind of like being trans wasn't really a thing, or at least not known to me. And no offense to anybody out there listening, if that comes across as offensive, I'm not trying to be. If I ever do anything that's offensive, it's always out of ignorance. So forgive me. And
yeah, fair enough.
But when I was studying to be a pastor when I was younger, I really asked myself those questions. I internalized a lot of things because I didn't really have a lot of friends. I kind of stuck to myself. But I did a lot of internalizing, and I was like, a lot of people that serve you at restaurants or walk down the street or are friends with me in class just happen to be gay. And I wouldn't have known if we weren't talking about it, or if I hadn't heard third part. Like, so why are they wrong? Because they're great people. And that's what really started me looking at them as people instead of, oh my God, they're gay, they're of the devil, And that type of ignorant, like, I'm so fucking glad that I'm not, like the pendulum did swing that way, and that I was able to look past, my own bigotry, because that I was able to look, at the way the situation was and see people as people, because there's a lot of fucking bigotry and ignorance out there, and sadly people, they need examples like her who are going to set, hey, there are positive examples of this. Don't listen to the negative, and that's sad that it has to be that way. But I'm glad that there are people out there that stand up to people who are fucked up.
I was never a religious person as a kid. I mean, I remember going to mosque and stuff and finding out how weird all this shit is. But I was homophobic when I was younger. I hanged around with a crowd and they, we were ghetto rude boys, killed a Batty man and all this sort of, oh God, I'm so embarrassed of my youth when it comes to those sort of things. I really am, But like you, I got to know gay people from outside of those circles through things like work. And I remember working like Madame Tussauds, the wax museum. I remember working there like over 20 years ago. And there's one guy I never thought was gay at all. I found out was gay, and I thought to myself, he just seems like a regular dude. There was another person called Paul Monahan. Oh no, shit! I shouldn't be saying his name. Sorry, there's a guy. I'll just call him Paul. I didn't complete his surname. There's loads of Pauls on this earth, but I didn't think he was gay. And then one day, we were all drinking and stuff, and then he pinched my ass, the fucking bastard. But I don't hold it against him, I don't. But nevertheless, I then found out he was gay, and but nevertheless, I got to know gay people a lot better, and my horizons were broadened, and I regret for since that day that I was such a bigoted fucking asshole, because I don't want to ever be that person ever again. Yeah. I wear a rainbow around my neck. I'm sure you've seen it in some of my Facebook pictures. A rainbow lanyard around my neck.
Right.
Because whenever I get a gay customer, but if people are not aware, I'm a London cab driver. So whenever I get a gay customer in my car, I want them to know that I'm not your stereotypical, homophobic person from Central Asia. I'm actually, pro-gay, pro-LGBTQ, even though I'm a straight man myself. I support you guys, and I want them to know that with that fucking lanyard.
Right.
Because I'm deeply remorseful for what I was when I was younger, and I'm doing everything I can, mate. Everything I fucking can to never be that person. Well, I'm not that person anymore, but to rectify what the person I once was, because I feel like I have a lot of rectification to do. Shall we continue?
Well, I actually have to dip out. I got to go get Roy.
Okay, well, let's end it there. But I think a lot of people have kind of got an idea regarding Jessie Gender. We've seen just a few minutes of this 40-minute video, and you can just tell, how distraught this lady is and all the shit she has to fucking go through. Trans hate is a real fucking thing, and it's happening not only on YouTube, it's happening on Twitch with these fucking goddamn bots and these goddamn fucking bigots who won't leave people like this alone. And it's up to us, like people like me and you and anyone who watches this video, to share this shit and to let other people know that this is happening, and it needs to be a stop needs to be put to it, because this sort of stuff shouldn't be happening anymore. Transgender people exist, they're not going anywhere. And when you got somebody as awesome as Jessie Gender, the last thing she needs is fucking more hate. So sorry, mate.
I think the thing to anyone that's listening, stop on over by her channel. You can just type in Jessie Gender, and you should be able to find out. I mean, does plenty of geek, plenty of Trek. Just an outstanding channel.
Mm-hmm.
Go show some support, because I'm sure right now. She could probably use a little bit, and maybe just a couple more comments of positivity thrown her way. Because I think if we were to all empathize and put ourselves in that situation, if somebody were, like to make fun of Zam for being Muslim, or make fun of me for being fat, or it's like all of us, we may not be able to completely empathize with what she's going through, but we've all been there where we've been harassed for some reason, and we've all felt like shit for some reason. Like, put yourself in her shoes and be like, man, that's a really fucked up situation to be in. And go leave a comment and say, hey, we support you, we love you.
I will leave both. She's got two channels, by the way. It's the other channel I mainly watch the most, because she does really good reviews and really detailed stuff. Some of the stuff I actually steal for my reviews as well, because I think that's a really good idea. I think I use that. So yeah, she does really good stuff. It's Jessie Gender, and we've got Jessie Gender After Dark, where she reviews everything from the What If and Mandalorian when it was back then, WandaVision, and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki and all of that other shit in between. She does it all on that channel. She does mainly Star Trek and on the channel we're watching right now. But I'll leave the links for both of those below in this video.
Put it in the description so anyone who wants to can just stop by. But yeah, I would recommend anyone, stop by her channel, leave a word of positivity, because man, it must suck. Even though you've got, you're surrounded by people, you must feel a little bit alone. So let's try to help her not feel so alone. I
left a comment, by the way. I left a comment for her, but my comment was a comment of not anger towards her, but anger towards her situation. I can't remember word for word, but I mentioned that my blood is fucking boiling for her. I am angry. I want to grab hold of these fucking cunts. Yeah, and fucking, I don't know what, mate, but just something to stop them from doing what they're fucking doing now. Because honestly, the polite way is just a way for them just to say, you know what, these guys are pussies. We can keep fucking going after them, and fuck being polite to these fucking cunts, man. They need some fucking Captain Marveling, man. You know what I mean? That's what they fucking need.
Well, see, but I think when you brought it up to me last night, hey, here's the situation. My first response was, fuck, let's make a video about it. You're going about it the right way. Just like she is. There's a problem. Let's address it. Let's go on. And that's the best way to do it is bring attention to, hey, there is an issue. Let's do it. A negative thing can turn out to be something positive, because somebody else out there who is getting kicked while they're down might look at this video and see, hey, they didn't give up I can't either. And that's the thing, that we have to understand. Like, you and I are not transgender, but we support that community. We're not gay, but we support that community. Like, we have to go out there and help in any way that we can when we see it's appropriate for us to do so. And even if it's just, like I said, anybody at home, showing a word of support, so that she can continue to do her job, that she's chosen to do, and lift other people up to be in this community herself. um, it's one of those things where we have to be a thing of positivity, because otherwise it's negativity never reacts well with negativity. So I mean, this is the right way to
Yeah,
handle it, and
I guess.
discuss it.
I guess I'm just angry for her. I want to beat up the fucking cunts who have been harassing her. I want to be
Yeah.
her knight in shining armor right now because I really feel she fucking needs it. Because she's
No, I agree.
everything I've heard from her is just like she's gone through so much shit.
Yeah.
I just really want to be that helping hand right now.
Well, I think you're
And
doing it
be
in you're doing it in a healthy way, Sam.
oh, we
I mean,
both are,
it's
mate. We both are.
no. Anything. I don't think she'd watch this video. I think we're a little under her radar, but if she
I
does,
will be sending this
anything.
to her on her Twitter, and
Oh,
I'll
awesome.
message her. I'll definitely let her know. I wanted to know
Well,
that we
anything.
are supporting her
Yeah.
in every
Yes.
capacity, and it's not just her as well. There's so many people in her shoes. Transgendered people, people who are ethnic minorities, who are going through this shit. Just because they're getting a bit more renowned, and this bigotry, it needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. We're in the 21st century, 2021. This shouldn't be happening anymore. You should be used to
No,
people who are different. It shouldn't be fucking surprising to you. For fuck's sake.
no, we should have the flying DeLoreans and hoverboards, and instead we're sitting here fighting COVID and being bigots. It's
Yeah,
it's
and people
extremely
taking horse
disappointing to
medicine.
think this is where we're at. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, for sure. Well,
but the thing about it is standing together. To fight these injustices, or at least bring attention to them, and helping others to stand up against it. It's all we really can do. So, on that note, I'll let you finish the show, man.
okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm very much enlightened by it because that's what we're there for. We want to fucking make sure you understand where we stand on this particular issue. We are on the correct side of the issue. I don't want to say right because it sounds too much like right wing. We're on the correct side of this fucking
Yeah,
issue, and the correct side is the non-discrimination side. So thank you, Vance, for joining me on this, and please
absolutely.
make sure you subscribe to No Budget Productions as well as NerdTube. We are the greatest fucking YouTube channel you never fucking heard of, and we'll see you cunts later. Live long and prosper, motherfuckers. Bye bye.